We're heading back to the border. We normally spend our afternoons and evenings into the night near the Gaza border, about 15 miles away from it. We were, however, in Tel Aviv just moments ago. We were speaking to a man whose mother is believed to be one of the captives held by Hamas. That's the preoccupation right now, by the way, with Israeli citizens. The soldiers have massed on the border, both the north side and around the sides of Gaza, readying for an infiltration, a ground invasion into Gaza. But at the same time, the Israeli Defense Forces have said they've informed 97 families that their loved ones are being or were taken, is the language they're using, were taken by Hamas because they don't know what the condition of those captives may be. There's probably another 50 that have not been accounted for because they're still recovering bodies from some of the areas around the Gaza border. But the bottom line is those people who have families who are being held would like the government to prioritize getting those families out. And it may be that is more successful through negotiation than through a ground incursion because they don't know where these people are being held, and they could be used either as human shields or they can be they could be killed as a deterrent to Israel. So that's the situation. We've got a standoff right now as it stands on the southern border between Gaza and Israel. That's the direction we're headed right now.
And Ali, I mean, I know you've been speaking with so many folks, but you just spoke with a man whose mother is still missing. What did he have to say?
Well, it was remarkable because his mother, a 74-year-old woman who lived in a kibbutz on the border of Gaza, was a peace activist. Her entire life was devoted to not just peace in the abstract, but reconciliation with Palestinians. One of the problems with Gaza is healthcare is not particularly good there for various reasons. They're blockaded and always have been from getting certain equipment. So if you've got cancer, you have to leave Gaza to get that treatment. She was one of those people who meets you on the Israeli side to take you for that treatment. I asked him what he knew, what the latest was this morning on the condition or the status of his mother.
The only thing I know for a fact is that her body isn't in the house. Other than that, we do have indications, rumors, we have strong assumptions that she is being held in Gaza. But I'm careful because I don't really know.
So he's not one of the 97 families that have been informed that Israel knows for sure that their loved ones were taken by Hamas. He said they've been in the house and her body wasn't there. They're hoping that that's a sign that she's alive.
Ali, we talked with Allison Barber earlier, and she witnessed tanks going past her toward the border of Gaza. What are you hearing at this hour about Israel's expected military activity into Gaza?
Well, one of the things Israel's got to be careful of right now is that they have been calling up reserves over the past year to deal with a brewing situation in the West Bank. So they've got reserves in the West Bank. They've now called back, if you recall, they've asked for 360,000 reservists to be called up. Well, they need everybody around the world who is a reservist. It's typical to live in the UK or Canada or Australia or the United States and be a reservist. So El Al has been sending those planes from all over the world to Ben Gurion Airport or to air bases in Israel because a lot of commercial flights are canceled. And as those reserves land, they have to be trained or retrained and equipped and all of that. So the people who are going to the southern border tend to be sort of soldiers who are already in the regulars or are currently doing their national service. And as everybody's up to speed and ready, they're sending them south. So that's why you continue to see tanks rolling down. Most of what Israel would need for a ground incursion is already in place. They've expanded what they call the Gaza military envelope farther out than the border of Gaza. So Israel's got it surrounded. They say they're ready to go in at any point. They're ready. So everything that you're seeing going south toward Gaza is extra.
And Ali, as you were talking, we just got some new reporting about leaflets being dropped in Gaza today from it says the Israel Defense Forces, and that they are telling citizens in these leaflets, because of course there's no power, so it's hard to communicate with them any other way. They're saying to flee certain zones, things like, quote, move against it, that they've prompted the army to move against Hamas in their area of residence. For your safety, you must evacuate your homes immediately and go to known shelter centers. So this is an indication of some of the movements that the Israel military forces, the IDF, are taking right now to try to protect some of the civilians inside Gaza.
Yeah, there's, as you know, more than 300,000 people, according to the. Oh, sorry, go ahead. That was going to say there are about 300,000 people who have been displaced so far, and that's what they're telling them: get out of your houses, because those areas, that's not the ground invasion. They're going to be hit by missiles, either by the Air Force or from the Navy.